I will move maybe to Norman. Norman, I know that GIZ Tunisia are working on this field and transformation and Industry 4.0. So as I said, each one will share with us his expertise and experience in this field in Industry 4.0 from GIZ Tunisia, or maybe GIZ in Africa.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mehdi. Thanks for organizing also this a very important meeting, since we have been for a while now investing some of our resources and activities and partnerships in really the topic of Industry 4.0. Now, I want to make 3 points, and I start with the one, why should we care? And I think for us the answer is, as His Excellency was just saying, it is something that affects different economies, and it's certainly something that we cannot just keep out, because it's a part of the global economy and the shifts we see in the global economy. Now, in 2017 or 16 or so, we have seen a number of studies on normally titled Future of Work, and I was just checking one of these. We're quoting Ethiopia very, very intensely in saying that 44% of the jobs in Ethiopia might be affected by the disruptions in the global economy, because the work itself might be automized, or it might be reshored, or production is done elsewhere. And I think lots of these studies were saying we need to be careful, because the job market and the economies are changing so rapidly that we either being part of it, or we're gonna be left behind. And I think for us at GIZ, this was one reason to say, if we look from an African perspective on everything that is automizing an industry, it needs to have different answers. And since it is happening, it's a global phenomena, we need to invest ourselves. Now, this leads to my second point. What is Industry 4.0 for an African context? And I think it's very, very important to remind ourselves that it's Industry 4.0 is a label very prominently being pushed by Germany and then many other European states, and certainly also companies. And yet it is not very well defined. So when we talk Industry 4.0 from an Ethiopian perspective, or from a perspective from Senegal or from Tunisia, we need to try to find out and try to shape it. What does it mean for us? And our experience here in Tunisia is certainly that many of the questions we are asking, many of the problems companies would come up with us, are different than the ones we experience in Germany. So also the tech and the solutions themselves look very differently. So I think here we need to make sure we discuss the right thing, and we not just adapt the discourse that's coming from Europe. And then the third point, and this is on the potential on Industry 4.0, I think we shouldn't be worried about it and say, like it's about automation, it's about taking jobs away. It's actually quite different. From my perspective, it's quite the opposite. If we prepare states and economies well, there's so much potential in it, and certainly also in terms of job creation. So I think the future of industry, and be it textile industry, be it pharma, automobile, food processing, all these industries are certainly being affected, and their future will be depending on using technologies that help to make their products better in terms of quality, to make it more competitive in terms of international competitors, but then also to make it future-proof as the company itself. And I think these potentials need still to be carved out, and each country has a different response. And from a GIZ perspective, this is what we investing ourselves with our partners.